The home stretch of the NBA season isn't just for playoff races and award chases. It's also the last chance for lottery-obsessed teams to make a mad dash to the bottom of the standings. So long as the worst teams continue to get first dibs on the best young talent, tanking is a scourge we'll continue to live with. But the association should continue its efforts to discourage such shamelessness. On that note, here are 3 ways to fix this annual problem. It's worth noting that the league has taken action to address tanking in recent years. Beginning in 2019, the draft lottery odds were flattened so that the worst teams no longer had an overwhelming advantage. Under the previous format, the team that finished dead last had a 25% chance of receiving the #1 pick. Since 2019, however, the 3 worst teams each get 14% odds for the top pick. The results were immediate. The last place team had won the lottery 4 years in a row leading up to the changes, but since, the NBA has gone 6 straight lotteries without the worst team winning the first overall pick. 2019 also saw the lottery expand so that the top 4 picks are drawn rather than just the top 3. This means teams can theoretically fall 4 picks back of their corresponding place in the standings, as the 2023 and 2024 Pistons know all too well. Finally, the NBA created the play-in tournament, which is more about extra programming and revenue than anything else, but the thinking was giving 4 more teams a shot at the playoffs would provide some late season incentive for squads who may have otherwise gone into the tank. Those were good starts, but as we're once again seeing with teams positioning themselves for the Cooper Flag sweepstakes, the league didn't go far enough. Roughly a third of the league's 30 teams are actively trying to lose over the final month of the season.
That's not going to be good for business. That's not going to be good for anybody.
Who can blame them? While a team like Chicago may be lured by the tease of postseason basketball and a few extra bucks, most cellar dwellers understand that the potential long-term gain is worth the short-term pain when you've got no chance to make noise in the playoffs anyway. My first fix then would be to further flatten the lottery odds. What if the 4 worst teams each get 12.5% odds of landing the top pick, and the remaining 10 lottery teams essentially share the combinations taken from the bottom 3? In this format, the NBA's best non-playoff team would see its odds double from 1 in 200 to a solid 1%. That could create the unintended consequence of fringe playoff teams bowing out of the postseason race in favor of the late lottery. But that's generally less of an issue than bad teams trying to be terrible. Next, we have to increase the risk for shameless tankers. Remember how I told you the NBA already increased the number of selections drawn by lottery from 3 to 4 in 2019? Well, I determined all 14 lottery picks via that lottery system. Right now, the team that finishes with the worst record knows it's guaranteed a top 5 pick because it can't fall more than 4 places. In my system, they could theoretically fall all the way to 14th. The odds would still make that unlikely, but the fear alone would have tankers thinking twice.
What a terrifying thought.
Lastly, the NBA should institute a rule whereby teams can't win the lottery in consecutive years. So take the Jazz, for example, who've become this season's most egregious tanker after already bailing on the last 2 years. If Utah's intentional ineptitude pays off and they win the 2025 lottery, the flag-led Jazz would then go into next season knowing the highest they could draft is 2nd overall. Would a team like Utah still look at a loaded 2026 draft class more favorably than the bottom of the West postseason picture? Sure, but if they knew their pick could fall anywhere from 2 to 14, they might not be as eager to waste year 1 of their new franchise player's career. Would that rule suck for a team like the Hawks, who won the lottery in a down year for draft prospects? Yup, but them's the breaks. This is pro sports, life's not always fair, and the system is already designed to prop bad teams up.
You're not wrong.
Unless the NBA gave every lottery team the same shot at the #1 pick, or gave every team in the league that shot, they'll never completely rid themselves of tanking. And on some level, that's fine. The very nature of sports means teams have to navigate different phases of the competitive cycle and make decisions based on where they are along that journey. But more can and should be done to discourage teams from straight up punting on their seasons. Losing should never be the easiest way out. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video and want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button.